What's the difference between the Toronto Blue Jays and a mosquito? A mosquito stops sucking.
This is Bss Sports.
Fires to the end zone. It's caught. It's Greg Lewis. Touchdown.
Brooks with one. Lets it fly at the horn. It's gone.
Here's Crosby with a burst of speed up the middle. Gets open and scores.
A grand slam for A-Rod.
Pure genius from David Beckham.
And it's in. Thierry Henry with a bullet. Touchdown.
With Thomas Brooks, Steve Shields, and Trevor Struthers. Only on 91X.
My name is Stephen Schill, and I'm here with Trevor Struthers. Trevor, how are you doing this Monday?
I am fantastic, man.
Is that because the Jays won yesterday?
Absolutely.
What do you think about the season so far? Like, I mean, the spring training, that's here nor there. I mean, Edwin Encarnacion never even played in the spring training games. Did fine during the game. Does spring training really have an effect on the season?
Not really. I mean, the way I look at spring training is really it's a warm-up for the pitchers. And with that being said, they talked about it yesterday on the Blue Jays broadcast of how, I mean, a guy like Chris Archer, he only threw, I think, 100 pitches in spring training once, and how it used to be, you'd see the guy do that at least 2 or 3 times. Just to obviously get that arm loose and go out there and in the first start of his game be able to throw about 120 pitches if he has to, and definitely get to that 100 mark. But, yeah, I mean, obviously the thing we talk about with pitchers nowadays is how they're babied, and they're still pretty much babied. But, yeah, for me, spring training is literally just about the pitcher just stretching out his arm.
See, the thing that kind of makes me curious about the way that sports are going is lately it's all about, okay, if you have the newest, greatest stadium, then you're going to be the next franchise that's going to get a team for anybody trying to acquire a team. Or if you are a team that has an older stadium, if you get a new one, then suddenly everybody's going to focus on you. You're going to get the All-Star game, etc., etc. And especially with Tampa Bay today, originally I thought the place was empty, but throughout the game it definitely picked up and there was a lot more people in the crowd. But it was almost kind of weird seeing that place actually have a crowd. And that's no disrespect to Tampa Bay, but some of these stadiums are absolutely huge. And I just can't help but think, why is it so imperative that all the stadiums are the latest and the greatest? And it kind of depends on the town and where the team is as well. Because, I mean, Toronto, you normally don't have an issue. But other places like Tampa Bay, where it's more tourist attraction kind of town, then you have issues. What do you think the biggest thing with these teams moving forward is? Do you ever think that the Jays will move out of the Rogers Center? Because, I mean, you could say that place is getting old, but where else would they move? Would they have to destroy the Rogers Center? And how about all these other teams? Like, I don't understand why stadiums are such a focal point in, like, sports today.
Well, I mean, the thing with the Blue Jays, I mean, every stadium has its day where it's just too old and it's been around for too long and they need something new. I don't think we're obviously near that yet with the Rogers Center / Sky Dome. Eventually, I mean, yeah, its day is going to come, and where would you put one? I really don't know. I mean, downtown Toronto was kind of jam-packed, I think, at the moment, it seems, right? So maybe you'd have to take down the Rogers Center. Who knows? Every stadium, and obviously, I mean, we get new ones, it seems like, whether it be football, baseball, or with hockey, with arenas, you get a new one, it seems, at least every couple of years or so. Yeah, it's always trying to get on top of the next technology, the newest technology, I should say. And we see that in Toronto with their news. Like, they haven't built, obviously, a new arena, but they have a new scoreboard. It's all about just trying to get on the top of technology, and that's really that's what the goal is, it seems like, is to have the best stadium and to have the best technology at that stadium, which enhances the spectators' experience of the game.
Well, it seems like it's also costing everybody a lot more. Look, I mean, it's great for construction companies, but I mean, look at the Bell Center in Montreal and the Rexall place or center, I forget which one it is. The final game is being played there Wednesday night, but they've been sold out for seasons upon seasons, and nobody's really complained about the oldness of it. They just decided, hey, we're going to make a new stadium. Especially with TFC, Toronto FC, the football club. They add this attachment, and the ticket price suddenly goes up $30 a pop. And it just seems kind of like, okay, that's cool, we got a new stadium, but I don't really want to have to pay the extra price that gets attached with it.
It just seems like whenever you get the money, they're going to do it. In terms of building a new stadium or arena, I mean, Rexall Place has been around for a while. And Edmonton, they have the money to do it. And it's almost like if you have the money to do it and it's not going to be a nuisance to anybody, then go ahead and do it. Rexall Place has been around for a while. And, I don't have any issue. I've never been there, and I'm not from Edmonton. I've never been to Edmonton. But, I don't have an issue with them doing it. And, as long as, if you have a reason to do it, and even if that reason is just having the money so you can get it done, I don't see an issue with it.
All right, so the Jays won. What's your betting on the Jays going undefeated this entire season?
162-0 I don't think has ever been done before. I don't think the Blue Jays will be the best team in baseball this year, I'll tell you that much. So I don't think they'll go 162-0. I do like the look of this team so far.
And what's your take on the fan base? Do you think that we're going to have people following the entire season, or do you think last year was a fluke? Do you think that after the home opener, the crowd's going to dwindle? Keep going. What's your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because I've never seen this before. The last time they did what they did last year, it was 1993. I can't recall them doing something like this before, obviously. But, I don't know what necessarily will happen. Last year you had the team kind of stunk, and then they went into the season, did all right. Picked up around July and August and made the playoffs. And obviously a lot of people started tuning in around that July and August time. They picked up David Price, stuff like that. So I don't know if those people are going to stick around, especially with losing David Price and Anthopoulos as the general manager. Definitely if this team's in a race come July and August, there's going to be people that are tuned in that haven't tuned in yet. I just don't know if they're tuned in right now.
You mentioned David Price there, and I want to bring up the topic of at what point do sports become a joke financially? Because he left for Boston for an absurdly large amount of money. We've seen Tristan Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers getting a max contract. Many others, some of them deserved it, some of them don't. In the NHL, Patrick Kane, Anze Kopitar, and some others, they're all getting these ridiculous contracts of a lot of money. At what point does it just become a joke and people stop caring because it's so ridiculous how much these players are making?
Well, no disrespect to hockey and basketball, but with baseball you have no cap, right? So baseball, I feel like that's where a lot of it is. And obviously, you look at the contract that David Price received from the Red Sox, and yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Because baseball has no cap, you see a lot of stuff like that. Prince Fielder's contract, Max Scherzer, his contract with the Nationals. It's ridiculous the amount of money that these guys go for. And baseball, it is a possibility because there is no hard salary cap. And I definitely think that's something that they should implement. In basketball and hockey, you see it, right? That's how you keep the stars. We might see this happen again with Tampa Bay and Stamkos. I'd be surprised if he signs somewhere else. I think Tampa's a nice place to play, obviously. I'll be surprised if Stamkos doesn't sign some sort of ridiculous contract with Tampa. We'll see it again, and maybe these same questions will come up. But, that's just the world of professional sports. And even with a hard cap, you see these ridiculous contracts because it's literally a bidding war when it comes down to it.
Ever since the Conor McGregor fight in the UFC, we haven't heard much, but recently we found out that Daniel Cormier, the light heavyweight champion, is backing out of the fight with John Jones because he sustained an injury, I'm assuming in a practice, and this has happened a lot of times. This isn't like an uncommon practice. This is very common. Fight cards getting kind of pushed to the side. Exactly the Conor McGregor fight. That fight wasn't supposed to happen, but it did because people were injured. How does the UFC or these fighters prevent constantly, getting injured in practices? Or do you think they're doing it on purpose?
I don't think they're doing it on purpose, per se. And, I've never obviously trained, right? So I don't know how exactly to avoid it because...
It just seems sketchy, though.
It does. But if I'm a UFC fighter, if there's, the slightest problem wrong with me, it may seem cheap, but I might pull out of the fight just because I want to be at my overall best physically when I go into this fight. Because especially for the challenger, to quote an Eminem song, you get one shot, one opportunity. It seems like with these UFC fights, and so you want to go in at your best percentage that you can. If Cormier is a little banged up, whether it be like a sprained ankle or, something, even a broken nail, although I doubt that's what it is. If you feel out of your comfort zone, I can see why you'd want to pull out.
Okay, so for the NHL, I was thinking the other day, and I'm a Bruins fan, and the hockey just doesn't seem entertaining. And that might sound like overly negative, but let's say you throw in an Anaheim Ducks or Los Angeles Kings game. No matter who they're playing, the game is entertaining. And I feel like, again, this is the whole West versus East conference kind of thing, but I also feel like it's the skill level of the various players. Certain players are getting paid roughly the same on each team, but when you're watching a certain group of them, they're entertaining, but a different group, they're not. What does the NHL need to do to make sure that every team is entertaining hockey? Doesn't matter about winning and losing, because I know that's a huge part, but I'm just thinking creatively and entertainingly, how do they fix that?
To be honest, I mean, I really don't know. I guess maybe the best way to go about it, although you'll definitely make some enemies, would be have it so you somehow, some stars in the West side and the East. I mean, really, I don't know how you go about doing something like that. You could definitely have great Eastern Conference games right now. I mean, I'd pay to see Boston and Detroit right now play with what's going on in the standings. The Eastern Conference, they do have their entertaining games. They have essentially the best team in the NHL this year. How much of that is because they played Eastern Conference teams the majority of the time? I mean, I don't know. They are the President's Trophy winning, and obviously I'm talking about the Capitals. So they were the best team in the NHL this year, and so I mean that'll be interesting to see who comes out of the East. And I think obviously the early favorites, the Capitals, and if the West is able to beat each other up enough. And we may actually see the Eastern Conference win a Stanley Cup this year. But, I mean, in terms of, like, evening things out, in terms of, like, skill and such, I mean, I don't know. Like I said before, and I feel like I say this almost every week, I just feel like the Western Conference is a more physical league than a more physical conference than the Eastern Conference. I just feel the West, they bring more to the table. They're more physical, and, that's how they play their game. A lot of the better teams in the Western Conference are physical teams.
Okay, so with that being said, is it a hindrance or a benefit if we do include expansion teams? Because there's two ways of looking at it. One, if we don't have them, then we, potentially have more elite players in the league. If we do have them, then we're going to be able to include some people that aren't technically in the elite caliber, which is going to cause more mistakes, which could cause more scoring, more entertainment. Kind of why, I think that college sports are very entertaining to watch, because more mistakes happen, which creates more entertaining and unpredictable plays. With everybody being very good, you can kind of tell what is going to happen. You get the fluke, and sometimes amazing hockey is played, but other times it's not, because they're all so damn good. So do you think it's better if they have the expansion teams or worse?
That's an interesting debate. What you said about the college players too. I mean, that's a lot. I feel like that's a lot of people's appeal to junior hockey in this country is the fact that more mistakes can happen, and because of that, more offense can happen. I don't know how you could expand with where they are right now. I mean, I think the way to have it would be if you could, and there's probably not 30 of these guys out there, but you could have an elite player or one on each team. You could argue, just to throw out an example, Chicago has more than one elite player with Taves and Kane, and even Keith. But, so you want to, try to spread them out, obviously, and I feel like expansion isn't the way to go with that. So I would say no to expansion if I could.
And finally, the Toronto Raptors. How far are they going in the playoffs?
That'll be interesting. If you asked me last year going into the playoffs, even knowing the matchup against the Wizards, I could tell you that I didn't think they were going to be swept and that maybe they'd even win that series. So, really predicting is hard to do. Hopefully they're locked into that 2 spot and avoid the Bulls. And if they do avoid the Bulls, I like their chances of winning at least a series.
It's going to be interesting. We're going to see a lot of people freak out. Jurassic Park's going to be full. The Maple Leafs aren't in the playoffs. The focus is going to be on the Raptors. And that's it for this episode of BSS Sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BSS Sports and like us on Facebook. We're also archiving on YouTube at BSS Productions. We will see you next Monday.